Muy bien, seguimos aquí con las entrevistas en el Spring Quesadilla Tour. Ahora nos toca con Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros. Tell me a little bit about the history of Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros.
My mom just showed me this short story that I wrote when I was 6 years old, and the first line is, "Once there was a boy who had a crew." And I thought that was so amazing. And anyway, so I think that it must have been like a continuation of that thought when I was 6. You know what I was inspired by? When I was in kindergarten and elementary school, we had this music teacher, and she would play the guitar, and everyone else would play like recorder and tambourine, and all the kids would be out of time and singing really loudly if they could, and everything was sort of out of tune, and I wanted just the joy of that elementary school thing, that kind of basic celebratory thing back in my life. And then right around that same time I met Jade. I knew her for years actually. But we were just hanging out. She was on like a street corner, literally sitting on the curb of a street corner in downtown LA, and I was on my bicycle with like a funny hat, and she was in a bad mood. And then we start talking for a while, and I knew that I wanted to get her this one book, this Osho book, yeah. Courage, the joy of living dangerously. And so I wanted to get her that book, and then eventually, later that week or 2 weeks later, I found her, or she found me, or we found each other, and then we started hanging out. And that summer was we wrote Home that summer, and I finished most of the demos that summer, and then Christian, our guitar player that's always to my right on stage. I've known since I was 3 years old. So Christian would come over, and we would, he'd lay down some guitar and stuff. But then eventually we wanted to sort of basically record the album from the ground up, or for real. And our manager introduced us to Nico and Aaron, whose house they had a studio at in Laurel Canyon. We spent a year and a half recording it, and during that time we met Nora at Burning Man. So that's sort of how it was formed, and then now, and since then we've been touring and playing, and now we're writing a new album, and it's much different because now we're a band and we're together, and so we're, still the process of writing is very sort of like a one person with the universe coming up with stuff, but then sharing it now immediately or quicker than it was before. Do you know what I mean? And more of us sharing and more of us contributing and all hanging out together, just like the last album, but much quicker, recording the album together. So, yeah.
Could you please talk to me a little bit about the new album?
It'll be even more of a communal record, really, I guess, in a way, and I think that's a really good thing. And maybe, who knows, we may be done with it in a little while, or it may turn into a double album or something. But I think that it'll be, I think it'll be special and sort of appropriate for where we've come from and where we are at now, Where we're going. Yeah.
The strength of the band is its diversity, and we're going to be celebrating its diversity in this record.
Really great.
Yeah.
Have you learned some words in Spanish besides discúlpame?
Sí, claro que sí.
You talk Spanish.
Puede explicarle. No. I can get by in Spanish, especially like if I'm buying something or if if I'm ordering food. The necessary stuff.
So I've seen you've brought a guitar. Could you please play something for us? Like a little song, anything.
I don't know. Do you want to play anything?
What about any stuff you've been working on? I can play Carries On real quick.
Carries On?
Are you talking about like a new song or something?
Something from Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros. And we can all go like, I don't know, clapping or doing something.
Okay, ready?
Ready.
One love, one love. Sorry, I forgot. You don't like singing this song.
I do.
Carries on. I gotta do it in lower voice. Let me start over. Ready?
Okay.
One love. It's too early in the morning for this shit. One love. Carries on. Let's get some hand clapping. One smile. One smile. Oh, oh, it carries on. They're supposed to be singing.
We did sing.
I can't sing and do anything at the same time. You know?
He doesn't hear
Really
you.
on the spot here.
One smile.
What can you give me? Touch me. Oh, can you give me?
Love on me. Oh, can you give me some? The gift that carries on.
Here comes Nico. Let's fucking jam. Oh yeah.
That's good.
It was awesome. Thank you, guys.
Good job.